they said, bring him in, we'll talk to him. So they brought him in, or we brought him in, and they talked with him, and we went to pick him up, and they said, well, we don't think he's got any demons. We just don't believe y'all are disciplining him enough, and you need to discipline your son more. So we endeavored then to try to incorporate more deliverance or more discipline, and we just kind of felt like were failing our son because I don't know. I guess we would yell, but not. I don't know. We didn't really know how to discipline him either, but we both came from families of unbelievers, so we certainly had no background in Christianity. But anyway, what we did was we tried to discipline him more. It did not work. And the behavior just kept getting worse and worse and worse, and ran away from home a couple of times during high school. And at that time, my husband was working nights, so I was dealing with it all by myself. And it was just like chaos in our home. I knew I was dealing with the demonic. My husband and I actually tried to do some deliverance on him. It didn't work because we didn't know what we were doing. And so, like I say, it just kept getting worse. We were kind of like dealing with everything in the physical, not the spiritual realm. So we would, I even took him down one day by myself, and he is bigger than me, but he was always respectful. He would, never hit me, but anyway. So that went on. Finally, we did get him out of high school. And so then he joined the Army. Well, first he went to one semester of college, and unbeknown to us, dropped out of college and joined the Army, which we were really upset about, but you can't do nothing, they're of age. So he went into the Army, actually went down to Fort Benning, Georgia, and things began to really kind of happen in his life then, because all of a sudden he's out from under mom and dad's covering. So at that point, one day he calls because things are really falling apart in his life. He says, Mom, I need to get help. So what my husband and I used to do too with our kids when, like he was home during the day because he worked nights. And every week we'd go lay on their beds and pray in tongues, 30 minutes for every one of them. And just because we were warring against so many things and not knowing how to get them back, so we would pray in tongues over him. And he said to me later, as he got older and got delivered, he said, Mom, I could always tell when you and Dad had been in my room praying, because those demons couldn't come in and torment me at night. So the power of praying in the Spirit is huge. But anyway, he called us and he said, Mom, I need to get help. Well, so then we knew it was deliverance, and we knew we had to go find someone to help us. So I started calling all these TV ministries, found out none of them do anything like that for you. So I won't get into that. So I didn't know what to do, and the Lord said to me, go get your book. Well, I had this book that I had purchased maybe a year or two before that, and it was called Deliverance, Curses, Unforgiveness, Bitterness, and Deliverance or Curses, something like that. And so he said, go get it. And I had brought that book home because I thought, I don't really believe in curses, so I put the book in the bookshelf. And that day the Lord said, go get that book, so I did. And I forgot I even had it, so I knew it was the Holy Spirit that had told me. So then I went and got it, and on the back of the book there was a picture of the guy, and he said, if you need help, my wife and I do deliverance in our home. And he gave his phone number. So I called him that day, told him our story about the house, all the behavior things, the battles because like he was 8, so here he is now in his early 20s. So you can see the long extended time that we dealt with these demonic. So our lives were really like hell, literally. So I understand when people say what they're going through that. It's no joke. And so I called the guy, explained to him what we had gone through, what had happened in that home, and that we really believed some spirits had gotten hold of him. And he said, I can help him, but he said he's going to have to call me himself because he's a young adult and he has to make the decision, because it's a decision. You can get free if you want to. So he's, yeah. So I always tell this to when I do my teachings, that if you got some demons you want to keep, you can keep those demons, but we probably won't get too much off. I can tell you a story about that later as we go. But so he said he's going to have to call me himself because he's going to have to want to be free. So I called my son, gave him the guy's number, said give him a call. He did. So then I called the guy back and I said, can we come to, my husband and I? So he said, sure, you guys can come. So then We drove all the way down to Georgia to get our son because we knew those spirits would never let him get to that deliverance minister. So we picked him up.
So you didn't believe he would make it on his own?
No, I did not. No. And later on, we ended up taking another one of our children because the guy said, all of you need to go through deliverance. Y'all lived in that house. So even though there were things maybe we were unaware of, he said, y'all need deliverance from living in that house.
Wow.
And our other son we took, it was like everything came against him. He was at ORU at the time. We didn't go get him. We flew him in, but it was like everything came against him. By the time he got there, he was so upset. But anyway, that's another story. But so that day, we went and got him, brought him to that guy's house. And that day he walked him through deliverance, and it literally changed his life. And so he had to go back a few more times, which is another, because it is a process. Some people think, deliverance is like boom and I'm free, but you know what? We are, even like Israel, God doesn't do the abracadabra. He don't do magic too, by the way. So I always say that. There was a guy, I listened to him talk about deliverance, and this is what he said. It's so good. He said, salvation's free, but your deliverance is going to cost you. And it does. Deliverance costs us. It does. It's a process. Just like when Israel went into the promised land and God has said, I gave you the land. It's yours. Go in and possess it. But the word possess means dispossess, if you look it up. So they had to go in and dispossess every demonic entity, all of the ites, did they not?
Yeah.
And they took them one by one by one. Well, that's kind of how we are in this land here. We're made out of the dirt. Yeah. I have to take various areas of my life back. And so we can take our lives back. We can take our families back. We can take our generations back.
Jesus. Whoa. Okay.